Greetings, or what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle fresh from the top of the Company of Heroes 2 ladder featuring spawning in the south. It's going to be the Vermac pieces of Kanji. And spawning in the north, it's going to be the Soviet forces of USC M246, who has featured on the channel recently and is clearly a very talented player. A lot of respect for this person, and looking forward to seeing what they're going to be bringing with the Soviets today. Looks like they're running with guard motor coordination tactics, airborne geyser, and urban defense tactics. So yeah, we'll see what they're going to pick as this game moves forward. And as these two players move on out and get their initial sort of unit choices and take their opening fights on the map, I'm going to spend a moment here just to talk about the stream which we had yesterday, which was awesome fun. So yesterday was... what are we on today? Today's Friday the 22nd, so yesterday was Thursday the 21st. And yeah, we had a stream going. We spent an hour or so just kind of making sure various things worked and trying to find fixes for things that didn't work and gathering a little bit of knowledge in real time whilst we were streaming. That was really fun. We got some cool stuff to work. We got the chat widget to work, and we got some other bits and bobs working. So it's looking a little bit more like a sort of conventional stream, slightly more towards the standard that people tend to expect when you tune into somebody who's streaming. And yeah, it was really exciting to do. Cast some Company of Heroes 2 live, and that was awesome. What a fun experience that is. Being able to cast live with the chat right there is just, it's just great. It's tons of fun. It's a way more interactive experience for me, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of that next week. And then we went and played some Call of Duty, and that was great fun. However, Call of Duty is such an incredibly fast game that it is difficult to do it justice over the stream, because any kind of pixelation or reduction in frame rate really negatively impacts the viewing experience. So that one was a more challenging one. I'm going to have to... I mean, it seems like I will probably have to look at upgrading my internet. I don't have particularly flashy internet. So streaming in 1080, 60 frames a second is, it seems, more than my upload can handle. So I'm going to try a couple more things, see if there's some settings we can tweak and some things that we can use maybe to sort of make the best of the internet that I do have, but it does seem like I may have to upgrade my internet at some point. But that's not the end of the world. I could do a lot worse than to have better internet, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, it was just generally, it was a massively successful experience, and a huge thank you to all of you who turned out and gave me some advice or chipped in the chat or just tuned in to enjoy the stream, basically. It was really fun. I was amazed, actually, that we had 15 or 20 even viewers at certain points, which, I mean, given that it was a live stream, which with less than 24 hours warning, and yeah, I'm literally just amazed, astounded, and really glad that many people showed up. It was fantastic. It was great fun. So yeah, once again, thank you to everybody, especially those who helped me do troubleshooting and bug fixing for some of the widgets and stuff like that. That was so useful. I learned a lot, and I'm really looking forward to sort of developing the stream moving forwards. So, with all of that said, let's just quickly take a look at what's going on in this game. Looks like we've got a pretty standard Vermax opening here. It is going to be an infantry company Grenadier-based opening with MG42 support and Flammenwerfer Pioneers. And for USC M246, it's going to be a techless opening. We've got triple conscript, double engineer with Flammenwerfer on one of those squads. So fairly vanilla so far. We'll see exactly how these two players opt to steer the game from here. I mean, I've made my feelings clear in recent casts. I actually don't... I mean, it's a fine opening techless with Soviets, but I don't like it when Soviet players play sort of up to, like, I think 7 minutes. If you are still techless and it's 7 minutes in the game, I'm really skeptical about that as an opening, because conscripts are fine right now, but every little piece of sophistication and technicality that your Axis opponent gets into their army just, like, negates conscripts so hard. I mean, it's already relatively difficult to use conscripts with just an MG42, especially on a small map like Crossroads. But once they get up to 2 MG42s and/or some other supporting units and/or some elite infantry, you know, and/or some sort of 222, or, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that can be happening. And if you are still just playing conscripts and it's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and yeah, it just doesn't seem good. I've never seen it look strong, so... looks like USC M246 is listening to me, has bought the support weapon camp, and I will have the option to spice into their roster some Maxims, Zisguns, or Mortars. So I imagine we're probably going to see a Maxim. It's going to be a 222 here from Kanji, so like the Mechanized Company, therefore, has finished. Let's look at the commanders here for Kanji, since we haven't done so far. So there's Elite Troops Doctrine, German Infantry Doctrine, and is this Reserve something or other, Giza? Strategic Reserves Doctrine. Okay, yeah, so this one's clearly a strong commander. German Infantry Doctrine we've seen quite a lot on the channel. It seems to be quite the hotness in the meta at the moment, although I still maintain, based on my observations and the games that I've cast, although it's clearly a powerful commander and it's quite transformational and it does let you play Wehrmacht and do things with Wehrmacht that you can't really do elsewhere, I still think that we're seeing it a little too often on people's rosters and a little too often being picked. I have to say its win rate, in spite of it being quite powerful, not necessarily the greatest. I think that Allied players, once you know that it's the German Infantry Doctrine, there are certain things that you don't need to worry about, and there are certain adaptations that you can make to negate the advantages of that commander, and it's not really too difficult to do that. So, although it's clearly a strong commander, and we've seen players like Skeletron demonstrate that it can be a real powerhouse at the like sub 25-minute mark, I think once you pass the 25-minute mark, or basically once the game gets properly underway, it's just it's not great, basically, and that's a difficult thing to say because having 5-man Grenadiers is really good. The G43s are good. The Veteran Squad upgrade is good. There is value provided by that commander in the late game. I just don't think it's the best, and I think the Allied players have tools to negate those advantages fairly easily. Anyway, we've got a Guard Motor Coordination pick here for the Soviet player. Guards with PTRSs now moving out onto the field. Looks like Panzer Grenadiers are going to be moving out here shortly. They're on the queue now to answer. And yeah, these two players moving fairly smoothly through the early game at the moment. No great hiccups. Looks like the Soviet player has been dominating the field. We've got a triple cap right now, and they're going to be overtaking their Axis opponent in the scoreline here momentarily. So, yeah, pretty much what we're used to seeing. I just have a stretch here. You know, actually, it occurs to me I've neglected to give a shout out to the other people who helped make yesterday's stream so fun and successful, and that was, of course, my my Brit Squad teammates who joined me for the company. For the Call of Duty in GIMP, Terraquite, and Damage. They gave a good accord of themselves on the stream, and much fun was had in many game types. So, thanks, guys. That was cool. Hopefully, we can get some more Brit Squad streams. Once I figured out a way of streaming that game smoothly. Anyway. So quite an interesting position here, as you can see on the minimap. Axis units are being able to make some inroads into the north of the map, and this is quite a standoffish game, to be honest. Lots of posturing and tactical positioning. And very little sort of commitment, very little sort of hard engagements here. Tankovy Battalion is finished, so T-70 money is actually there. We'll see if a T-70 is going to be the choice. This looks like a fine table for a T-70. The T-70 can be useful against all these units here. Pioneer's going to repair the 222 down here. Conscripts under the arc of an MG42. It's funny, the fighting in this game feels so sporadic. Neither player really committing large amounts of units into any particular engagement. T-70 is going to be the choice here for M246. Ooh, Panzer Grenadiers engaging into Grenadiers. Oh, there's a bundle grenade though. That will be mostly dodged by those engineers. So, I mean, until these guys decide to take a big fight or anything else momentous occurs, I guess I'll start talking about sort of some ideas that I have for next week. Of course, I do live in the UK. We are still in lockdown. So that gives me a lot of free time on my hands, really. A lot more than I'm used to having. So, yeah, I'm going to be streaming some more next week, I reckon. Going to try and get the stream up, build it up slowly but surely, and just kind of, I don't know, increase the quality of the stream. Because, you know, I hang out on Twitch quite a lot. I watch quite a few streamers. And I'm aware that, generally, my production values and my skill at streaming and putting together a credible-looking sort of video experience is like pretty low. Like I'm really bad at it. So I'm actually really keen to keep learning. It's exciting. I love gathering new knowledge, and I love sort of leveling up my skill. It's really fun. So yeah, I think next week we're gonna be streaming some more. I'll have a look at my calendar right now actually, and just have a look how packed next week is looking. So we've got, yeah, we could definitely be streaming on Monday. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned to the community section on my YouTube channel. Wow, this T70 getting pretty ballsy. Pack 40 is here to screen it off though, so it's gonna have to fall back for now. But yeah, stay tuned to the community section of this YouTube channel, because that's where I put text announcements most often. So if I do figure out that I'm definitely going to be streaming at a certain time, I'll post the announcement there. There's also Twitter at MagpieCaster, which to be honest I don't really use very much, because Twitter's just not a tool that really, like, I just don't really like Twitter, to be honest. But having said that, I totally concede that it is a useful tool, and I will try to get better at like actually using it. So yeah, there's the Twitter account at MagpieCaster. So yeah, anytime that I figure out that I'm definitely going to be streaming, I'll post as much warning, as much advance notice as possible there. So those of you who do fancy joining in can do so. We'll be live casting some Company of Heroes. We'll probably be playing some Company of Heroes. We'll probably be playing some other RTSs as well. I've got 0K and I've got Homeworld Deserts of Karak on the list. So yeah, they'd be really fun. I also play quite a lot of BattleTech, to be honest. That's a game at which I just enjoy that game. It's very well made, and it's just a fun game. So yeah, stay tuned to those sources for further news of Magpie-related video activity. Patgun here going to find a nice hit on the T70 as the Axis player pushing pretty hard, controlling these VPs right now, doing pretty well at that. Maxim gun has been added into the roster, and that makes a ton of sense on Crossroads especially. Machine guns have always been strong. I imagine we'll probably see the mechanized armor Campanier come down soon for the Soviet player. Let's just quickly check the tech here. So Battle Phase 2 is on the way. We'll see. It seems that these days, Axis players are super content with support armor core tech. More often than not, we see Battle Phase 2 come down, support armor core comes down, and then we see Panzer IV usually, occasionally, very rarely, an Ostwind or a Stug. And that seems to be, you know, Wehrmacht players are super happy doing that. And when they made all of the changes to the Wehrmacht teching, I was kind of excited to see Battle Phase 3 taken with a bit more urgency and sort of, because I don't know, they've made more. Now when you throw down the heavy armor core, you get the sort of passive buffs to your infantry where they cost less to reinforce and they capture points faster. And I guess I just thought that players would be valuing that more. But we haven't really seen Wehrmacht players really lean into that. And I would like to see a Wehrmacht player, for the sake of science, and maybe players have done this and they've concluded that it's not very good, and that's why I'm not seeing it. But I would love to see Wehrmacht players just go as quickly as possible for Battle Phase 3, and then, like, I don't know, what's the cheapest unit you can get out of Battle Phase 3? The Panzerwerfer probably, and then the Storm Tiger, the Brumbar. Yeah, I mean the trouble is Panther is quite pricey. I mean it's very good though. If you can make a Wehrmacht build that focuses around getting a fast Panther and Battle Phase 3, I'd be interested in seeing that and supporting it with a brutal anti-infantry focused infantry roster with like 1 or 2 AT and infantry solutions, like 1 pack gun or 1 unit of Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks or something. That would be really interesting. I'd love to see something like that. So anyway, it will be support armor core in this game, so that building going to be coming down. The T70 actually gets the scout on that, so that's quite nice. Just to confirm what your Axis opponent is up to, it's really helpful to know the timings. This is going to enable M246 to be really efficient about when they get their Zis guns, or yeah, which should be kind of soon. Although, Mechanized Armor Campanier has finished. We won't have the fuel for an Su-85 in time to negate the need of a Zis gun, sorry. So, Rifle Grenade connecting Plum with some conscripts there, actually not doing as much damage as you might think it would. T-70 is just strafing the Axis lines here, and there has been a mortar tube added into the roster for the Soviet player. The PM-41 82mm mortar tube, going to be trying to do some work here at the moment in the Soviet base. Kanji has been getting really good field control for a commanderless, pretty vanilla Wehrmacht player on Crossroads against Soviets. Like, the scoreline here means that they've been very active on the map. So that's pretty cool. Panzer IV will be the choice out of that support armor corps, and that's going to be hitting the field well in advance, it seems, of any preparations to deal with it, to be honest. One has to assume anti-vehicle grenades are done, yeah. But we really only have PTRSs on a guards infantry squad. Like, that is not enough of a deterrent for a Panzer IV at all. We have no Zis gun. What is the plan here? Your opponent... I mean, you just saw the support armor corps, right? Hang on, am I wrong about this? Did he not see the support armor corps? Yeah, he saw the support armor corps. I think that means he saw the support armor corps. The fact that we see these, like, crazy dips. So, okay. So then you know your opponent's going to be coming at you with something that you need a harder AT solution for, right? I just don't understand what the plan is here. Anyway, we got the Maxim into the nice building here. That's going to be helpful. Here's the Panzer IV. T-70 will not be sufficient to deal with that. This gun comes onto the queue only when the Panzer IV is actually here and shooting, so that's a bit late. This Panzer IV can bully its way around a little bit. I have seen the odd patch of Soviet mines around the map, I think. I can't actually remember where I spotted them now, but I believe there are mines out, although I'm not really seeing any right now, to be honest, so maybe I was wrong about that. So yeah, this Panzer IV basically has reign of the field. Okay, the Zis gun's going to be out here in just a second, so mostly this Panzer IV actually wasn't that effective. He could have pushed a bit harder with it, but I suppose Kanji doesn't actually know about the lack of Zis gun right now, so... anyway, Zis gun is here, that one's going to be moving on to the field here, so it should be able to help control the advance of this Panzer IV in just a minute here. Getting a second squad of Pioneers is Kanji. I really like it when players remember to do this as soon as they have an armoured vehicle out. Especially if you're playing as Soviets or Wehrmachts, just because their engineer squads repair really slowly. With OKW, you can, and with Brits really, you can get away with just one engineer squad. So those are telemines, aren't they? Yeah. You can get away with just one engineer squad with those factions because they repair so quickly, but even then it's useful to have two or more. And with American forces, obviously, you get a really awesome engineer squad built into the inside of every tank you produce, so that's just, like, epic. Okay, so we've got fighting going on across the map here. T-70 and Conscript's going to be duking on those Grenadiers in west. Panzer IV making advances in mid. I think the Zis gun just... Yeah, there we go. The Zis gun there chipping in a hit. Gonna let the Panzer IV know that it can't hang around in mid-map. It's going to be a T-34-85 here for the Soviet player. That actually makes a lot of sense. The T-34-85 with a Zis gun should be a good match for that Panzer IV. And, of course, the T-34 is just a nice, fast, hard-hitting, medium-armoured unit that can help just slap damage onto all of these Axis infantry squads. So that does make sense. Panzer IV going to be using this building here as a sort of to silhouette it against this Zis gun up there. And here comes that T-34-85. Going to be stepping out here in just a second. Let's just quickly check the tech. Okay, so we are going to Battle Phase 3. Cool. Alright. Alright, Panzer Grenadiers round the corner into a storm of fire. Nice bundle grenade. Getting down into a big cluster of Soviet units there. Doing some damage. Panzer IV being useful here. Where's the Zis gun? Did he creep that along the north here? Yeah. Wouldn't hate a second Zis gun here from USC. Still no commander choice here from Kanji, leaving the door open for a Tiger or whatever else they deem necessary. Pack gun. Is this... Yeah, only one pack gun at the moment for the Axis player actually, so... How much are T-34-85s? I have to look this up every time. I'm so good at casting. 130 fuel. Alright. So that actually means that they are more expensive than a Wehrmacht Panzer IV, doesn't it? Yeah. Interesting. I think in reality, if memory serves, the T-34-85 actually had the same gun as the Su-85, which prompted the end of Su-85 production after, I believe, a run of about 2,000 Su-85s. So yeah, once they had mass production on the T-34-85 going, they just didn't really want or need the Su-85. So that was the end of that one. Interesting, of course, just because, I mean, a T-34-85, pretty horrifying prospect for most Axis armor, to be honest. A Soviet medium tank with the gun of an Su-85. Yikes. So Soviet infantry is pushing. 222 is here at the moment with an MG42 in a heroic position. Look how much value these two Axis units were able to repulse there. Nicely done. The T-34-85 actually, I guess, got tagged by a Faust or something. It is stricken right now, limping away. Rear armor actually exposed to the south as well. The Zis gun gets cut down by incendiary rounds, and Kanji here finally starting to draw serious blood here, inflict meaningful injuries upon the roster of M246. Now that Zis gun is going to be recrewable, but it's taking shots from the Pat gun and the Panzer IV as conscripts rally here to try and grab that. MG42 still has incendiary rounds active. Whoa, he gets the Pat gun. Okay, that's pretty big. And the T-34-85 is going to be repairing slowly with just 3 engineers there. These engineers probably want to join those repairs. But picking up the Pat gun is nice. The Zis gun now recruited is probably... Is he going to focus? No, he has to go for the tank here. Mark vehicle comes down on the Panzer IV, which immediately just eviscerates the crew on the Zis gun. The triple cap still established right now for Kanji. Kanji is looking like a really smooth Wehrmacht operator in this game. Just playing the vanilla Wehrmacht style, but so tight, on top of every engagement, just looking really tight, always sharking for value. And it's really cool. So anyway, this Pat gun at the moment does have the T-70 under its sights. The T-34-85 is going to rumble in, so we've got a choice of targets here. Goes for the Pat gun, then it's going to retract the turret onto the 222. Conscripts pushing forwards. That's going to mean that the Pat gun can't stick around here and contribute to the fight. The explosive shell from the T-34-85 means that the Pat gun is all but defeated. A round from the conscripts there is going to destroy or take that unit out. And he's going to come forward actually and try and focus the Pat gun down. We're even going to... So, actually, I forgot to mention, a GR34 has been spiced into the roster here for the Axis player. And that makes sense. Look at the nice balance between these two players. Their armies are so nicely balanced. They have good sophistication, good technicality in their lists. Both of them have access to sources of indirect fire, smoke, suppression, good amounts of supporting engineer, repair infantry, good core infantry, supporting very good scouting and medium armor. And I think both of these players are basically putting on a really good showcase of like a vanilla style for their factions. Like, this is how Soviets and Wehrmacht were both designed to be played, and it's going to come down to the skill of each player in these engagements. T-34-85 finding a super meaningful wipe there on a squad of Panzer Grenadiers. Finally, M246 able to strike back for the squad wipes that Kanji was able to inflict earlier, and going up to a second T-34-85. Okay, nice. And we've got a commander pick coming down from Kanji. It's going to be the Elite Troops Doctrine. So the option is there for the veteran Panzer... What was it? Panzer 6? Yeah. The Tiger tank was a Panzer 6, right? Anyway, it's gonna have access to that tank in just a few minutes here, as long as he can get the manpower saved up. We've also got, what is this, Stormtroopers? Yeah. Stormtroopers, G43 upgrades, Panzer TAC actually, that's probably going to be really useful on a small map like this, where AT guns have relatively large amounts of coverage, and your tanks are basically always going to be fighting into other tanks and or AT guns. Panzer TAC is super worthwhile. We've already got Blitz on this Panzer IV as well, so Blitz and Panzer TAC is kind of two really good defensive measures you can use for making sure that your Panzer IV doesn't die. And of course Blitz can also be used offensively, but yeah, it's just... I mean, I've said this before on the channel, but I'll say it again. Panzer TAC is a really good upgrade for Wehrmacht. Wehrmacht is a faction that I would say almost more so than any other are like concerned with getting armoured vehicles out and then letting those armoured vehicles survive and thrive. Panzer TAC feeds into that so well. If your opponent just can never kill your Wehrmacht vehicles, you're probably going to be winning that game. So yeah, so we've got telemines here. Just looking around for other mines. I think it is just... Okay, yes, there are some Soviet mines dotted around the place here and there for catching infantry and snaring tanks. So that's pretty nice. Both of these players keeping a decent munitions reserve. How much is Mark vehicle? 80, okay. Alright, so the Panzer IV here, gonna thump the T-70. That little tank's going to scurry away. 3 stars now on the T-70. We're not really seeing it being used in observation mode, actually, recon mode. But that is like just an epically powerful ability that provides near infinite lines of sight. To be honest, it synergizes better with the Su-85 than most of this army, but it's still very useful to let you orientate your units correctly in advance of Axis units coming out. Fog of War. We've got a push here in the east. 2 T-34-85s just dealing damage to Axis units right now. The Panzer IV shy to engage before the pack gun shows up. And the Zis gun is actually in a good position, ready to ward off any, well, and this Panzer IV essentially. So Kanji has managed their resources really well and has Tiger tank money, and we're getting to the stage where, I mean, we're super close. Yeah, any second now, hopefully, we're going to have Tiger tank out on the field. So 10 unit cap remains for our Soviet player. That is actually not enough to fit an Su-85, if I recall. Yeah, they're 15. So could we get another Zis gun? I feel like we need more. Yeah. Okay. I mean, in lieu of an Su-85, 3 Zis guns is a prickly enough defense that it will repulse your average Tiger tank. I have to feel like the 2 T-34-85s are actually more of a liability than an asset, usually, against a Tiger tank, unless you can get that Tiger tank into a bad position where the T-34-85s can get around it and sort of, you know, exploit its side and rear, and its slower turret traverse speed. You know, if the Axis player just plays smartly, keeps the Tiger tank well supported and not exposed, then really the T-34-85s are just kind of a source of veterancy for that Tiger tank. So this Tiger is going to change the dynamic of this battle substantially, and USC M246 is going to have to respond by getting some stiffer AT into this army. So we'll see what the option will be. I don't actually know how good T-34-85s are at penetrating through the front of a Tiger these days. Anybody out there? See, this is when I wish I'd be streaming on Twitch. Maybe I should just start streaming on Twitch generally and just uploading the VODs. We'll think about that. My only concern with that is video quality. But anyway. Oh, wow. Okay, so the 222 goes down. Zis gun, I think, getting the pick off on that one. Oh, come on, mouse. Soviet units kiting backwards, doing good damage as they go. One of the T-34 is getting quite low, though. 2 squads of engineers with decent veterancy on one of them means that the repairs will be quite quick, but they're tending to the T-70 right now. Pack gun creeping forward, and the Tiger tank is finally here. So actually this T-34-85 needs to GTFO sooner rather than later. Doesn't want to cap a killing blow from this Tiger. That would be quite the start to life for the Axis Heavy. And yeah, here we go. This is what I mean. The Tiger just changes the dynamic here. The range and power of that Tiger's main gun just means that the Soviet player can't really hold on. The Zis gun will be forfeit. The Maxim likewise. And these are units that M246 can't really afford to be losing. 2 stars of veterancy comes down on the Panzer IV, so that gives it the armored skirts. That's really nice. He's going to be just dancing back with these tanks who just can't really afford to be fighting the Panzer VI. The marked vehicle comes down, and having taken about half health damage, and also the Panzer IV is exhausted as well. That will probably spark the end of the aggression here for Kanji, and M246 fearlessly trying to counter in here. Conscripts closing in, do get the engine donking grenade onto the Tiger, so that's going to buy a little bit more time where this Tiger has to be repairing. And right now it is the Axis player who's bleeding. The scoreline's super even, so this has been a great game to have jumped into. 2 highly skilled top tier, well, I don't know about top tier, but like these are clearly players at the top end of the game who are playing very well. A great match for one another, and look at this. USC M246 with perfect timing, more or less, going to be getting the Su-85 that he needs to sort of change the dynamic once again, to respond to the shift in equilibrium of this game that the Tiger tank has sort of wrought. Look at these repairs, actually. Repairs the Tiger tank enough that the engine is fixed, and then goes to repair the Panzer IV. Just like a little bit of advanced repair micro that we just don't often see. Most players just opt to... Why are these guys... Oh, they're trying to destroy the Maxim so that the Axis units can't loot it. That's pretty smart. Had me momentarily confused. I was like, you're shooting a piece of metal, not the enemies. And then I was like, oh, actually, that actually is probably the idea, isn't it? Alright, so the Su-85 is out, and that one is kind of a game changer, because this one is now the longest range and sort of most consistent source of AT damage on the field, and as long as M246 looks after it and doesn't enable the Axis player to exploit its weaknesses, then this SU-85 is going to be the story of the game, essentially. It comes down to this. So, I mean, for Kanji, what would I like to see? I don't know. I mean, we have quite a lot of fuel. We have quite a lot of manpower. I wouldn't actually hate adding Stugs at this point, because Stugs are a nice source of AT damage. They vet up pretty quick when they're shooting at these kinds of targets. And they're also kind of disposable enough that you are okay trading them for an SU-85 or one of these tanks, or, you know, they are not the most expensive units. So, yeah, I feel like this is an okay position for Stugs. Did he build Heavy Panzer Corps? I think so. So yeah, Heavy Panzer Corps is finished. The buffs from that will be active. Infantry now, I believe they capture 25% faster. The Axis infantry will be doing that. And since this game is shaping up to look like it might be about the victory points in the end, I mean, both of these two players actually have big enough armies that if either player takes a crushing engagement, the game is likely to end immediately, because there's just going to be enough momentum and force to snowball the game, like just out of control. Oh, conscripts here. 3-star veteran conscripts on the chopping block. MG42 hosing in, but actually they're going to escape, so that's fine. But, yeah, as I was saying, so the Heavy Panzer Corps is finished. The benefits from that are going to be really important. But also, that does give access to the Panzerwerfer, and that seems like it would be a really good use of fuel spending here. Whoa, this tank is actually not prioritizing the Tiger, which you have to think it wants to. Oh, the rear armor on the Tiger is exposed. Panzer attack is used at a crucial moment. The Tiger getting super low. Su-85 feeling brave, comes forward. The Panzer IV trying to flank round to the west. One of the T-34s gets taken out by the anti-tank might of the Axis player here. Su-85 coming in for a dive. This is risk. There's a Panzer gun, there's a Pack gun, sorry, and a Panzer IV. Oh my god, he's not going to find... He does find the Tiger! I thought that was out of range for sure. Su-85s never fail to surprise me. And that's fine now. He gets the Tiger tank. The Panzer IV is going to come in here to pick up the Su-85, but that's okay. And as long as this T-34-85 is able to escape, which actually rear armor exposed, the Panzer IV could so come in on this. The engine gets broken by a Panzerfaust from these Grenadiers, and he's going to lose both of the Soviet mediums here. The Panzer IV using Blitz to just poke forwards here and get that one. Actually, he comes in way too deep. We can get out of here. Oh no, the main gun gets destroyed. This means that the T-70 can actually stalk this one down. Pack gun is here to prevent that happening. And when the dust settles, you have to feel like Kanji comes out ahead. So we traded 2 T-34-85s and an Su-85 for a Tiger tank, basically. And it seems like he also lost some other units. Lost the guards, I think. This infantry roster is definitely a lot smaller. I can't exactly remember what he's lost. He's definitely lost the guards at some point off camera, for which I apologize. But yeah, wow. Oh my god, Kanji taking sick engagements and just has a really healthy army. I'm a little bit worried about the lack of frontline troops, just 2 squads of Grenadiers, but 3 squads of Pioneers to back that up is actually kind of enough infantry presence. And it's going to be a Panther tank the next buy for Kanji, because remember, we can't buy the Tiger for 3 minutes until 3 minutes after its death. So, and a Panther tank is actually a super smart choice here. That is going to exploit this new T-34-85 really well. I think the Panther tank is just a really, really clever choice. Kanji is just playing this game so well right now. So well. But Soviet Mortar Squad will be grabbing medium, and that will put Kanji back under the clock. 185 tickets right now, under 218. So this a close game on scoreline, but victory within sight for Soviet forces there. So although the army compositions are beginning to favor the Axis player, in my opinion, if USEM 246 can just hold on to the VPs for a decent spell, then they might actually be able to close the door here. Like, definitely this game is far from decided. Panzer IV skirmishing with this T-34-85. This Panzer IV got to be coming up for 3 stars soon. Yeah, it is. Let's refresh our memory of what the veterancy is on that. So you get Blitz at 1, you get armored skirts and improved weapon tracking at 2, you get improved mobility and rate of fire at 3. So this Panzer IV soon to be an absolute monster, to be honest. Moving faster, tracking better, taking more hits, doing more damage. We like that. So here comes the Panther tank. That one's finished now. This T-34-85 now in a pretty bad way. Gets a nice penetrating hit through the front of the Panzer V there. So that's pretty good. But he's gonna have to get the T-34 out of there. You know what? Actually, USEM 246 has managed to scavenge up quite a good roster of AT guns here. Has a Pack gun, has 2 Zis guns. That's really going to be helpful. And what is the... Oh yeah, we managed to wipe out a Pioneer squad in that last phase of play. There's so much going on. I'm missing all the squad wipes, for which I do apologize. So yeah, it takes out a Pioneer squad. That's useful for sure, but definitely the most expendable unit for the Axis player. And look at these 2 players. They've both got MGs, they've both got mortars. Like, this is how Company of Heroes 2 was supposed to be played. Armies are more powerful if you have more technicality and more sophistication at your disposal. And these two players are embodying that. The triple cap, though, is established. Soviet forces were able to grab East VP, and 119 tickets bleeding out fast right now. Kanji actually in danger of being pressured into taking bad engagements because the scoreline is just running out. He's going to be running out of time here. Probably only 2 minutes of time left in the bank under a triple cap. So actually has to make some meaningful map progress very soon. Even if he can just capture this one, that will triple the amount of time that he has remaining. And obviously wants to get at least one of the other points decapped to get out from under the clock. So this is quite a brittle Axis army, to be fair. And with 3 AT guns and a T-34-85 and good support here, this is not going to be easy for Kanji at all. So, okay, the T-70 sees everything coming, immediately kites out of there. The Panther really wants the T-70. It's coming in deep here. It's coming in really deep here. Wow. Okay, so there's a huge fight going on in mid. The Panther is going to think better of it. Can't pursue too far. If you hit some mines or anything there, the Panther is basically just dead. So that you have to respect that. The AT guns are over here in east at the moment. Good rifle grenades and damage coming through here. The Grenadiers get out super weak, but they will get out. The Panzer IV marked vehicle has come down on that one. That one's also going to get out. Some of these AT guns are not firing. The Pat gun, again, no, the Pat gun is firing. And I think Kanji has to give it up. There's just no way. Also, Kanji out in west, there were some Grenadiers who were decapping. Whoa! The mines for the squad. That is a game-changing mine hit. Literally, mines win games. The Panzer IV got blown up somewhere. There it is. Sorry, totally missed that. I think it got picked off by a Zis gun. But, like, okay, that was a game-changing mine hit. So we can only get so many things on the camera right now, because if those Grenadiers make it onto this VP, that actually gives Kanji so much more time in this game. But they die to the mines. And now the triple cap will be re-established, and with that, you have to feel like M246 has won. Yeah, there's a Panzerwerfer coming out, and it might have time for one barrage. We'll see if that's going to be game-changing, but there's another T-34-85. Actually, sorry, that's a regular... No, that's a T-34-85 coming out on the queue here. And with that coming out, you have to feel that USC M246 has this one in the bag. Axis units are bleeding out on the field here as Kanji's army falls apart. The Soviet hammer gonna shatter any kind of resistance here, and Kanji is going to have to look for redemption in another game because there's no way here. I mean, the Panzerwerfer is going to come out. It fires a barrage, but this is just a I'm leaving the game spite barrage here. Haha, take that. There we go. Doing some good damage as well. But it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. The triple cap is still established. Kanji still in the lock. M246 giving us a beautiful display. A fantastic game. Ridiculously well played by both players, but it is the Soviet player who will be emerging victorious here. The Panther just going to come in here for a dive, and there we go. Kanji runs out of time in this game. What a great win there for M246, who I feel like this game was actually completely even all the way through. Both players playing at a very high level. Until there was a massive trade and lots of fuel units dying for both sides. And after that point, well, then I feel like there was a super short window where the Axis player actually had the advantage because they actually got the better end of those fuel unit trades, trading out the Tiger for 2 T-34-85s and the Su-85. But just after that, M246 was able to get so much value by scavenging a pack gun, going up to the 2 Zis guns, and basically just winning against the Axis infantry and starting to eradicate your opponent's like core infantry roster. And then we had like Panther, Panzer IV versus T-34-85, T-70 with like triple AT gun support. And actually, the Soviet player is totally happy with that sort of armored battle dynamic. The 3 AT guns with supporting the medium tank just will be enough to shut down even the Panther. And that's what happened. And then the Axis player was left in this position of desperation where they had to control the VPs. And M246 puts together a masterful push, grabs east, establishing the triple cap, and closing the door before Kanji can actually get back on their feet. Fantastic game. Definitely one of the best games I've cast recently on the channel. What a banger. That's awesome. All right, cool. God, I really enjoyed that one. Nice. Nice.
Good game.
Yep, that was a good one. Okay. All right. I'm just going to have a quick look in the live game lobby and see if we can see another one. the Sloth, Rechterwinkel. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, I was hoping that we could catch a rematch between those two, but they ain't there, so... Unfortunately, I have a lot to do today and over the weekend, so I will not be casting or streaming probably until Monday, just because I've got lots of great things to be doing this weekend, and that's fantastic, but it's not going to leave very much time. I may have a brief window where I can cast a game or two on Saturday or Sunday, we'll see. But I am likely going to be signing out for now until Monday. But I very much do look forward to returning on Monday and getting some more streams underway, building the stream, and casting some more RTS, and just having some more fun. So thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with Magpie 842 for now. And this for now, me signing out.